Welcome to all. In this session, we are going to see the manufacturing of paper from tree to sheet. We are going to explore the remarkable transformation from forest to finished product. See, in this step, the step one is raw material preparation. We know that the paper is made from wood. So the primary source are wood from softwoods like pine, spruce and hardwoods like oak, maple. They provide cellulose fibers for us. So these woods are like trees are cut into woods, then woods are cut into logs. These logs are debarked and chipped into uniform pieces approximately 1 inch. So we can use alternatives also. What we can do then? We can use cotton and bamboo also here. Next step. This is a pulping process. So we can separate fiber from wood. Like these are the two processes are here, mechanical pulping and chemical pulping. So mechanical pulping, wood chips are physically ground into fibers. This method preserves fiber length, but it produces weaker paper suitable for newsprint and low grade products. Chemical pulping, that is known as a craft process. So in this process, we can use sodium hydroxide and sodium sulfide at a temperature of 170 degrees Celsius to dissolve lignin. Okay, so this lignin, if we are dissolving that, we are removing from wood, then only we can produce a good fibers. Okay, and it produce stronger, higher quality pulp. Chemical pulping. It dominates chemical production for premium paper products requiring its strength and durability. The third step is nothing but cleaning, screening and bleaching. Cleaning. Actually the wood logs are coming from forest, so they used to have a dirt and impurities. So these dirt, impurities, contaminants, they are removed in the pulp mixture. That is known as a cleaning process. Okay. Then screening. Screening is nothing but the pulp passes through fine mesh baskets to separate fiber bundles, and it improves the uniformity of the paper. Then third step is bleaching. Bleaching is nothing but using oxygen or hydrogen peroxide, we are whitening the pulp. So this is known as bleaching. So if we are using chlorine like agent, then the waste, the water will contaminate and it will have the chlorine free radical. That's why we are using oxygen and hydrogen peroxide for environmental impact. Okay. The next step is refining and forming the paper sheet. So refining process is mechanical treatment of fibers. It improves flexibility and bonding capacity and enhancing the paper strength and quality. Next one is sheet formation. Actually the pulp slurry, it contains fiber and water. It spreads onto a moving mesh in the forming section. So the water is drains away and it initiates the sheet formation as fiber begin to bond. So next step is known as pressing and drying. So pressing is very easy. That is in industry they are having a big rollers. So this rollers squeeze out excess water and it reduces the moisture content, like 80% moisture content or 60%. So it used to reduce. Then next step is drying. So heated cylinders, they evaporate remaining water. So solidifying the paper into a good paper which is having only 5 to 8% moisture. Okay. Last step, finishing process. Here only they can fix the quality of the paper because these processes are like that, sizing and coating. So here chemical treatments and coatings, they improve surface property for printing or packaging application, because packaging like papers, they are having less quality like our cardboards, carton boxes, those things and all. but the paper like bond paper or printing paper, they are somewhat having a very much good quality. The next one is calendaring. So in here, a smooth rollers, they compress and smooth the sheet for uniform thickness, because in paper sheet the thickness should be same all over the surface. So like that, it improve the finishing and glossy nature. So in calendaring process, these things are happening. One is the smooth rollers, they compress and smooth the sheet. This is useful for uniform thickness. And second one is they improve the finishing quality. And third one is they enhance the glossy nature. So these steps are doing in the calendaring process. The next one is converting. In converting process, the paper is wound into large rolls or cut into sheets for distribution. So this is known as a converting. So environmental and technological advances. So like nowadays the mills are built like the water and chemicals which are from our paper industry, the waste water and waste chemicals, they are recycled. So it reduces the waste and environmental impact. Similarly, we are using a bleaching agent which are chlorine free. So that will be somewhat very helpful for our green chemistry reactions. And drying process, it minimizes ecological footprints. So likewise, we can give somewhat important to our environmental nature also. So deforestation, as a chemist, we know very well about this deforestation. We should not go for that. Then what is the alternative for this paper? So we can do like even for hard copies, we can go for a soft copies, and we can do some techniques like sustainable innovation, traditions, and engineering excellence. So using these techniques, we can improve and we can show our environment responsibility. So these are regarding a paper industry, how the paper is manufactured from the woods. So this is very important. So what and all we have seen is pulp manufacturing and carry out the steps. Okay. So this is very much interesting also. No, we can learn how we are manufacturing paper in paper industry from the wood. So the chemical pulp method, that is somewhat more important. Thank you for listening.